this is Chris Strub, the Giving Day Guy. Over the last 4+ years, I've worked closely with community foundations and other organizations around the United States to help them promote and share messages about their respective giving days within their individual communities.
Hey everyone, guess what time it is? It is time for Give for Good Louisville 2018. I am here with Chris Strub. We are going to be...
This year, 2020, Giving Day season is looking a little bit different. All of us are having to adjust to social distancing and virtual events. And that's what we're going to talk about in this video here today. See, during your upcoming Giving Day, I'll be working with the organization in your community to help produce content all day long. Now, every Giving Day is different. Some Giving Days run midnight to midnight. Others may start at 6 a.m. or even start at 6 p.m. But the idea is the same, that we're going to use live video throughout the course of the Giving Day to share your messages, to bring attention to your cause, and most importantly, to help you raise those critical funds that are so important to you and your organization during these extraordinary times. So during the course of this video, I'm going to answer all the questions that you may have about how to be a great virtual guest. On your Giving Day, you may be interviewed by me, you may be interviewed by someone from your community foundation or a member of the media. We're going to run it all through an application called Switcher Studio. Switcher Studio allows me, as the remote live producer, to not just appear myself on screen and not just bring you on screen, but also do some pretty cool stuff that's going to allow us to create a really sharp, high quality broadcast that your audience and those really valuable new donors are going to want to tune into all day long. 4, 3, 2, 1. So, what do you need to be a great live stream guest? That's what we're going to jump into right now. All right, in this first section, we're going to talk about equipment. What sort of equipment do you need? First question, what do I need to join a broadcast? Really, all you need is any device with a camera that's connected to the internet. I like using my phone. I'm actually recording this content right now on my iPhone. Got another iPhone here. But you can use an iPad. You can use your laptop. You can use your PC if it has a webcam attached, whether it's built in or an external webcam. Any one of those devices that's connected to the internet is going to work for you. Now, before we move on to the next question, the second most important thing is making sure that that camera is going to be steady. So, having a tripod like this, where you can attach in your device, now all of a sudden, you're not sitting there holding up your phone in front of you. So if you're going to use a laptop, you can keep it on your desk, or you can do like I do, and you can get a laptop stand, and you can keep your laptop steady as you're standing and delivering your message. The next question is, what should I be doing for audio? Look, I'm recording this video on my phone, and I'm just using my AirPods. I think they're a great option. They pick up sound really well. You'll be able to hear what's going on through your device. If you can use AirPods, that's a perfect option. If you don't have AirPods or you don't want to upgrade to them, you can just use the traditional headset that comes with your phone. Again, I'm an iPhone user, so I've got the old Apple headphones, so those work perfectly. You can use the headphones that you might use if you're going for a run. Again, I've got a couple different options here. These are JBL headphones. They work awesome. So you can just plug these in. These work great as well. You can use a headset that you might have for gaming or anything like that for your Zoom meetings. Again, you can see that mine is actually broken. So hashtag Zoom life. But this would just go on your head, and you can use a headset. This will actually produce great audio if it's not broken. Or if you really want to step your game up, you can use what I use during a typical Giving Day, which is the Samson Go Mic Mobile. can find this at strubstuff.com. This is the receiver, and it plugs in to either your iPhone or your Android device. This is the handheld option. The mic flag would be sold separately. The Samson Go Mic Mobile also comes with a lapel option. So if you wanted to use a little lapel mic, you can plug it in and you can use the Samson Go Mic to feed audio into your device. Next question, what about lighting? Look, I'm a big fan of natural light. I love being outside. I don't know about you. If you can get outside and use your device, even set up your laptop outside, I think natural light, assuming it's not raining, is going to be a great option for you. So you won't even have to worry about any other sort of stage lighting. I'll show you here what I use in my apartment. This is the typical ring light, or as I used to call it, a diva light. This is adjustable as well, that you can adjust. You can't really see it too well there, but you can adjust the dimming as well. And you can see if I turn that light off, you can see how it sort of affects how I look there on the video. So you can have a ring light set up like that, or you can even use a little ring light like this. Of course, I didn't check the battery first, but this would just click onto the top of your device, and you can have a little lighting set up there just on your mobile device. If you don't have any of those options, you can even use a little desk lamp. I've got a reading lamp in my room that's connected in next to my bed that you can just shine up, and you can get some really stellar lighting using different appliances that you may have around the house. All right, what about connectivity? Yes, the strength of your internet signal is going to be very important. If you're in your home and you've got strong Wi-Fi, that's going to work perfectly. However, if you did want to go outside, like I mentioned before, generally your cell service, assuming you're in a metro area, should be all right to connect in as a video guest. Just remember, if you're going to go outside, if you're going to go do something dynamic, bring a tripod or bring some sort of stabilizer to be able to keep that camera looking steady. It's not really tremendously watchable when you're doing an interview when someone's trying to hold their phone steady in front of their face. So if you want to go outside, don't be afraid to use your LTE data. I've used LTE data at Giving Days around the country, and it works pretty well. All right, part two. Let's talk environmental. So, what should you wear to your video interview? Well, I think you should wear whatever's comfortable for you. Of course, I always recommend wearing something that's going to represent your organization. So you see, I've got on my Give for Good Louisville hat here, along with a little button that shows you my brand there. So little things like this, little accessories, can make a big difference. If I worked for a big nonprofit, you know, you could have like a YMCA blazer on. Certainly you could wear a polo shirt or even a t-shirt. We'll see here, ooh la la, here we go. You see, I've even got my Give for Good Louisville t-shirt on underneath. So even that would work fantastic for the sake of our interview. Don't overthink your wardrobe. Just wear something that is representative of what you do as an organization. Because remember, most video on Facebook and on social media is going to be watched with the sound off. So people should be able to recognize who you are and what you do based on just what they see and not necessarily what they hear. Where should I do the interview? Well, again, we're all getting accustomed to working from home, so you can do the best that you can. Again, I know a lot of you guys have kids at home, have pets at home, so that may be a challenge to find a secluded area in your house or in your apartment. But again, just remember, if there are noises going on, it can be distracting to the viewer, so try and find a secluded place. As I mentioned, I think it's great if you can do the interview outside. That natural light and just being able to see your surroundings, I think, is going to be fantastic. So if you have a porch or a back deck, that's a great spot, especially if you're still close enough to the wireless router that you could stay connected to the Wi-Fi and be outside. Boom, best of both worlds. Another option as to where you could do the interview, again, I know that we're all social distancing, we're all working from home, but perhaps you're the executive director of your organization, you have your own office space. You know, could you get into your office and then actually have your office as a backdrop? You know, if you're inside, if there's no other employees there, you just want to head into the office for the half hour, 15 minutes, whatever. That's a great option. Or if your location is particularly important to what your organization does, let's say you're a food bank or an animal shelter and you want people to know your location, You could actually do your interview outside of your building.
Hello, and we are still out here and doing on the table things. So we are actually out at Cabañas Restaurant over on Decker Boulevard, and I'm joined by Tanya Rodriguez Hodges.
Yes, ma'am.
So thank you so much for being a host, and we're gonna go ahead and take you inside of the restaurant, and so we can talk with the owner and a little bit more about your conversation tonight.
Thank you so much. We're very excited. We start shortly, so we're hoping that everyone will come down and join us.
Okay, all right, let's head on in.
Okay.
Go out in front of the sign that's on the door, or even go out, onto the sidewalk and frame your shot with your location behind you to be able to show the interviewers and to be able to show the audience where exactly in the community your location is based. What about my background? Again, a lot of us are using Zoom or similar technologies these days, and we're able to wash out and put just a custom background behind us. Now, unfortunately, with Switcher Studio in this live environment, you're not going to be able to use a virtual background. So just do the best that you can. You see here, this is my apartment here. This is the Fly the W studio. So maybe you're watching and you're looking at some of the different elements that are in motion behind me, or you're looking at the date or some of the pictures. These different items give you some context as to who I am and what I do. Think about how you could do that with the background that you're going to be shooting with. Again, this horizontal look is going to be best. So a lot of people like to have bookshelves behind them. But again, if you don't have anything like that, a white wall or even a brick wall is going to be just fine. But do definitely take into consideration what's going to be happening behind you. Like I mentioned earlier as well, I think having your building as a background could really be a great thing. Or maybe you're an environmental organization and you want to go out near the river, say in Columbia, South Carolina. Again, the more that you can fill the background with context that makes sense to your organization, the better off you're going to be. Can I move around during the interview? I touched on this a minute ago, but you can. Now, I would definitely recommend that you do so with a partner. Maybe it's your husband or even one of your kids can help you be a camera person. If you are going to be moving, I very strongly recommend that you use a tool to steady the camera. This is a great tool that would allow you to steady your device, specifically your phone, on the move. This is the DJI Osmo Mobile 3. So this is going to be less expensive than what is called the DJI Osmo Mobile, which is all black. This is gray. It fits in a little carrying case. This is going to run you about $150. And your device will plug right in there. And when you turn the device on, you'll have to experiment with it for a little bit before you use it in real time. But if you're using the Osmo Mobile, I think it would be great to be able to walk around and have you kind of show us something about your organization. Now, for most interviews, again, the tripod is going to be fine. You can even get just a little tripod that just goes right on your desk, $4 or $5 on Amazon, plug it in. But anything that's going to steady the camera for you is going to be great. The other tip that I would add is to keep the camera eye level with you. It's very different when you see a lot of people on television these days kind of looking down at the camera. You'll notice that I have these tripods here set up and my laptop stand set up so that when I do a live video, not only am I looking right at the camera and it's looking right back at me, but I'm also standing. You may notice a different vibe and a different sort of energy from this video than if I was sitting at a desk somewhere. So while you're being interviewed, if you're able to stand up, and I understand not everybody is, but if you're able to position your camera and you're able to stand, I think you're going to be able to present an even stronger sense of energy through that video interview. Okay, part 3. Let's talk preparedness. First question. Can I tell my audience to tune in to the interview? The answer is absolutely yes. Again, if you're being interviewed on television or on the radio or even in the newspaper, it's very natural to tell your audience to come tune in at that specific time and watch. It happens all the time. But now here on Facebook or on YouTube, if you're being interviewed live, this is just as good an opportunity, if not better, for you to tell your audience to come tune in and watch and support, and most importantly, share that video out with their own social networks. I encourage you to use both your existing social media channels, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Let people know when you're going to be interviewed. You can even use the little countdown clock on your Instagram story to let people know exactly when you're going to be interviewed and where you're going to be interviewed. And also use your email list. Let people know, look, May 5th, Midlands Gives, we're going to be interviewed at 10 a.m. Bam. Let people know exactly what they can do to support, where they can watch, and you'll be able to both help us build a larger audience for the Giving Day as a whole, and the audience that is watching all the rest of the content throughout the day will be more likely to stick around and watch your interview. How long will our interview go? This is a great question. The answer is going to depend specifically on the time allotted by the Giving Day host. So when you're interviewed on television or on the radio, oftentimes you're up against what's called a hard stop. There's ad breaks that need to be put in. When we're conducting interviews on social media, on YouTube or on Facebook, we're not as specifically stuck to a hard schedule, but of course we are going to be interviewing a lot of people throughout the day, so we will certainly have a time when we do need to stop. But there's nothing in our ears that says this interview must stop at exactly this moment or else. So we're not confined to a 60-second spot or a 90-second spot. Now that said, it's still valuable for you to be able to parse your message in a succinct way so that we're not droning on and on and on. We'll give you a general time frame of how long that interview is going to last. And just remember, if we have a set number of questions, we only have 10 minutes to do the interview, and you take 8 minutes to answer the first question, then we may not get to the second question. So be prepared, but don't be shy. Don't feel like you need to cut yourself off due to time constraints, but also be respectful of the fact that we are going to be working on a lot of interviews throughout the day. So keep it simple, keep it short and sweet, but don't be shy to take the time that you're allotted to share your story. Next question. What are we going to talk about? This is the $1 million question. This is what's so important. Once again, you get all your equipment set up, you get yourself in the right situation, you get yourself in the right mindset to talk. What are we going to talk about? Well, look, first things first, a giving day, especially these virtual giving days where there's going to be even more people watching through social media, watching on YouTube, a giving day has always been and always will be your best opportunity of the entire year to attract new donors. So I'm going to ask you, or someone in the interview is going to ask you, what the impact of a new donor can be on your organization, right? Remember, you're speaking to a new, broader audience that may even go outside the geographic bounds of your community. I recommend that we talk about what the impact of a donation and what the impact specifically of a new donor can be on your organization, especially during these challenging times. But I want to show you how some of the organizations around Louisville are actually really bought into this whole hoping to reach a big goal. So you guys set a goal of $30,000
Yes.
today.
Yes.
And of course, those we're going to be able to get that goal more quickly as we reach some of these proportional matches.
Yes.
Right. So the more individual donors we get,
Yes.
at 25, 50, and then 75, we're actually going to divide up $60,000 among all of the organizations
Yes.
that reach those goals. So how are we doing? Secondarily, I recommend that you have in your mind at least one awesome story to tell. No matter what your organization does, I'm certain that it's had a major impact on people over the time that you've spent with that organization or during its existence. Keep on the tip of your tongue a really fantastic story that you can tell in maybe the course of 30 to 60 seconds, maybe a little bit longer, that's really going to grab people and be memorable. When they stop watching that interview, what's the one thing that they're going to remember hearing? It may not necessarily be your impact statement or your mission statement. It's going to be that story that you might be able to tell, maybe specifically about a person whose life you changed through the work that your organization does.
So,
Right.
again, tell us a little bit about why this location, the story of how you guys got here.
Yeah, so this is St. John's United Church of Christ over here on Grand. So we were operating in a community center not far from here, just kind of 3 miles down Grand, but that community center was closed in the middle of the school year, so we were kind of in a tough spot. Reached out to a few different churches and organizations that I knew of, and St. John's was very generous and very warm and welcoming and said, come on over here, let's not have your program disrupted, let's get you over here and keep you rolling. So really thankful for them.
And again,
Thirdly, if a story doesn't stand out, I always love using statistics during the course of an interview. So you might want to have a little notepad out, read up a little bit, and make sure that you have a few stats available, whether it's about your organization's involvement with the Giving Day in the past. Maybe those statistics are the goals that you have set for this Giving Day and what you're hoping to accomplish. Or even better yet, the impact that, again, donations are having over the course of a year. When you tie those in with hard numbers, it makes it a little bit easier for donors to understand what their $20 might mean to your organization, or what their $500 might mean to your organization. So when you can tie those numbers back into the anecdotes that you're sharing, I think having statistics handy is going to be a great way to prepare yourself for our interview. Can I show props on the video? Heck yeah, you can. Bring as many props as you possibly can. I mean, we love seeing different items, especially during this age of sort of enforced social distancing. We see people all the time having just conversations, just talking to one another. What we'd love to see is, if your organization is creating products, or maybe you're in partnership and you have special t-shirts that were made. Maybe you work with pets and you want to have a pet handy, a little dog or a cat would be fantastic. Maybe there's different tools that you use to do your job on a day-to-day basis. Yes, visuals are everything. This is why, part of the reason why I pack my background with visuals is that you can see stuff, but oftentimes I'll just run back and be able to pick things up too. I mean, I got a copy of my book, got a license plate, whatever you can do to show things during the course of the video is going to be really great. It's really going to stand out and make a memorable impression on those people who are watching. So yes, definitely think of what props you can use, you can maybe bring in from your office to have handy to be able to show. And even if they're little devices, if I've got a bell, right? Anything that you can do, turn on a light, whatever you can do to bring some added energy to the video, we're all for it. Chris, can you show images and or video during our video interview? The answer actually is yes. Now, the circumstances may be different depending on your individual giving days and depending on the amount of time that we have during your specific interview. But for some giving days, and we'll let you know specifically about your giving day and the confines that we'll have within your time frame. Yes, if you have images of your work, of your impact, of the people that you serve, images we can definitely do. Those are easy to load into the Switcher Studio platform, and I'll be able to bring those images up sort of either over the screen or kind of next to us as we're talking or next to you. Think of it like a traditional news broadcast. We're able to do a lot of those same things that television stations are able to, and so it's often really great when we're able to bring up images or even a brief video during the course of your interview if you want to have that queued up.
Shout out to all our friends, all of the 500 plus participating nonprofits, all of the sponsors who we were showing you there before on the previous video, and of course all of you guys who sent in your videos. So what we're going to do actually is we're going to bring up the screen here. Well, let's give you a little update on the donations first. You can see there on the screen, let's bring it up full there. $2,806,428.80. That's pretty darn good for a Thursday afternoon here in March, here in San Antonio, Texas, from the St. Anthony Hotel.
Next question. Can I plug my organization's website and social media during the interview? The answer is yes, and you should. Now, remember, during the course of your giving day, the call to action is going to be for viewers, for your audience members, to go to the Giving Day website and to make a donation by finding your organization on givestlday.org or Midlands Gives or whatever the website is for your specific Giving Day. But of course, we also want those followers to stick with you, especially those new donors, to stick with you throughout the rest of the year. And so encouraging them to go to your website to learn more about what you do is fantastic. Encouraging them to connect with you on social media, of course, is a great way to be able to keep their attention, keep them coming back. Now, of course, again, the call to action on a Giving Day, at least in my opinion, and others may have different opinions, the call to action for me is always, today is the day to give. So we want to encourage people to go to that Giving Day website, to find your organization, and to make that donation. But again, you can definitely slip into the conversation, and I can use Switcher Studio to put lower thirds on the screen that have your website, that have your Twitter account and your Instagram account, your YouTube channel. So if you have those resources available and you want to give us a heads up, again, the instructions for submitting this sort of information are going to be a little bit different based on every individual Giving Day, and we'll be certain to give you those specific instructions. But you'll want to get us as much information as you can in advance so that we can ask you about it as well. We'll try and queue you up to give you a natural footing to be able to provide that information, likely at the conclusion of your interview. All right, lastly, what's the best #1 takeaway tip for being a great interview guest? I think it's all about the energy that you bring to the conversation, right? Hopefully it comes across in the video here. You see I got my bright colors on. I've got the branded hat on. We're standing and delivering, so we're not sitting down. We've got the bright lights on. We got the natural light coming in. All of these factors add up, but the one X factor that none of these external factors is going to be able to make up for is your energy level. Look, especially now during these social distancing times, we're all struggling. It's a painful time for many, many people out there in the world. And so getting that tone of voice right is going to be very important. It's something that we've talked a lot about in advance of your Giving Day. How can we best approach it? But really, as a representative and the representative of your nonprofit organization, I think people want now, especially these days, to hear a message of hope and belief and optimism and energy, and they want to understand why your organization, among all the others that they're able to donate to on this Giving Day, why is your organization worthy of their donation? And a lot of that is going to come across not just through the script that you might write up, or not just through those numbers that I encouraged you to have handy for reference, but through the energy, through the optimism. This is why we use video and we're not writing blog posts. We're not using the typewriter to send out messages. People are going to read who you are and what you are based on the way that you're saying things. So again, position yourself properly. Again, I love standing. Have the light set up, natural light if possible. Get the headphones all set up. Have your talking points ready. Don't rely too heavily on them though. We're there to have a conversation, and people are there to hear why your organization is one that they need to support during these especially challenging times. All right, that's all the questions that we're going to cover here in this video. If you have more questions, please feel free to leave a comment on this video. It's likely that if we are working together, that I'll also join you at some point for an interactive discussion where I'll be able to take your questions in real time. If you have any other additional questions, you can always also tweet me, send me a message on Facebook. You can feel free to add me as a friend on Facebook too. You can follow me on Instagram. Do me a favor, if you want to hit that subscribe button here while we're hanging out here on YouTube, you can do that. And I look forward to seeing you at your Giving Day. Again, we're going to get through this together. Hopefully these videos are going to help bring some much needed attention and energy and positivity to your organization and to the broader Giving Day in your community. My name is Chris Strub, the Giving Day Guy. You can read more about me at www.givingdayguy.com. And until next time, and until your Giving Day, I'll see you on social media. Okay, how was that? I hope that answered everybody's questions. I'm pumped. I mean, I'm a little heartbroken not getting a chance to get out to these communities this spring, and who knows how long. But we're going to do the best that we can, and let's get pumped up. Let's get juiced. Let's get ready to go. Do some jumping jacks. Go run around the block in the morning. Double up on that cup of coffee. It's time to rock and roll. We're going to make this happen. We're going to make this year the best giving day ever. Let's make it happen together. I'll see you soon.